We'll go from there. All right. So we got how many people we got here? So there's not a ton of new information, but I do have a little bit. So thank you all for being here. Um, I don't even think I got the date right on this thing. Skip over that. We got so this is I'm gonna email all of you this presentation, but also the one that I gave the students, and that one is like 3 times as long. So I'll send you all those slides. Um, so no problem there. So that's why there's a lot of links in these things, because I kind of use it for a reference sheet too for people, or a manual of sorts. Um, so kind of the basics to start. The difference between just being a group of students that get together and do things and a actual recognized organization is the student orgs have the ability to reserve meeting rooms free of charge. We can help them get rental vehicles and you know other, so that's kind of one of the big ones, but also the ability to get approved posters, post them up on the bulletin boards, and then we won't mess with them if they have the stamps on them. And one of the other things that has changed with the approval of posters is if it's from a department or an office on campus and not a student org, they don't have to be stamped, just from student orgs. So if you're respectable adults, you can put them up, you know, no problem. But student orgs, we still have them stamped to their stuff. Um, you're also able to use the bridge and other, like, usually media and communications. If they're doing an article, they'll try and contact us to make sure all the groups are approved. Sometimes they don't, but we haven't had too many issues with that. So really, if they were to ask a group that wasn't really official, I usually ask them to take that part out until they're an approved club, but that doesn't happen too often. You also get your own harbor page, which, as we kind of have seen for the last few years, is a really good place to kind of keep everything organized and get your events together and all that stuff. But the big one, the big daddy, is you get to have and request for money from student government and special allocations, and then the budget requests twice a year, which is still controversial. Just kind of a really quick preview of the harbor here. Your Carthage credentials will work. Some people don't have profiles, but you can create your profile. If you have a Carthage email, you can create your profile. Otherwise, all students have user profiles in that system. But faculty and staff, I haven't convinced the registrar to give me all of your information yet to put you in there, but that's fair. That's fine. You guys can create your own once you get in there. The big things on the harbor right now are event registration, and that's where you can submit posters to get approved as well. And then the intent to be active form, which basically tells our office that you're still alive and kicking, and that you want to be able to kind of keep going for the year. I'm also going to be looking at doing Constitution rewrites. Well, not rewrites necessarily, I guess more like updates here this semester, just because it's been a while. It's been since before COVID that we've kind of done a specific Constitution kind of workshop cage match. So hopefully we can get that going here soon. And that would kind of work similar to the intent to be active form, but probably like outside, just mostly emailing me the updates so I can update them. And then the big difference this year between like the harbor and Astra is last year, apparently, when we said that Astra and the harbor could communicate with each other. They actually couldn't, and we were lied by both companies. We were lied to by both companies, and apparently everyone that thought they had these rooms reserved didn't, and it was a big mess. At least for a few different organizations, some were okay, but so we're going back to Astra. So, we're reserving rooms through Astra, then going into the harbor and saying which room that you have reserved. I usually double check to make sure that those rooms are reserved. It was certainly a great thing in theory to have them talk to each other, but we were let down big time. But room reservations in general, Megan Mazanet can help a lot with that. I know she's hiring a person to help with athletic stuff and other things, so there might be actually some more help in that area. So that would be really good for all of us. Because Astra is kind of a pain, depending on what you're doing. So it'd be nice to have a little bit more support in that area. Travel policy, it's very long, as you can see, so you can check that out on your own. But the big thing is traveling kind of outside of I would say the distance of maybe Milwaukee, North Illinois, where, except for maybe a few exceptions that we'd probably have to get through a vice president, any sort of major travel, we're requiring a professional staff person to go on those, like a chaperone, which we haven't had a ton of problems with, but there have been some instances where we've had to talk with administration just to get that squared away, because it can be a little difficult. But I feel like, for the most part, advisors or someone interested are going in. I can't imagine a paleontology conference without Thomas Carr there anyway. So, they never really had a problem with that club going to conferences. But so that's kind of the biggest thing on the travel policy. And then, your typical, if you're using like rental vehicles, you will need to be certified, and you would need a professional staff person. I actually got into some issues last year where they wouldn't allow, I want to say, people under 21, but I was told that people over 18 would be able to use the rental vehicles. So I still am in the weeds on that, but typically 21 and over to drive those, but you would need a professional staff person in the caravan, not necessarily driving, but someone in one of the cars or vans for the rental vehicles. Charter buses are a great way to do things, but they are expensive. And then also, and I'll talk about this a little bit, like money wise, buying plane tickets is expensive. So it is, I would have the students or whoever is going to be looking to fly get in contact with me or Liz to purchase those, because it can be a lot of money, and I don't want advisors or students putting that much money in their credit cards and stuff. So sorry, I went through a lot of things there, but that kind of all ties into travel stuff. Posting policy, I went over that a little bit already. It's pretty typical of, make 40 to 60 posters, get them stamped, good to go. So now just the general expectations of an advisor. I've got a couple slides here to maybe look at a little bit in more detail, but mostly it's just to show kind of a genuine enthusiasm for the group. When I speak with the students, I tell them that, at first, if you're looking for an advisor, it's good to find someone that maybe actually is maybe more invested in you as an individual or a group of students than maybe bugs or yoga or whatever the case may be, because they'll be invested in you and wanting you to kind of succeed. as far as an advisor would be concerned. But then eventually, maybe, a year or two down the road, trying to find some more expertise in what, you have going. I wouldn't be a great knitting club advisor because I don't know how to knit, but I mean, I certainly would be glad to help a group do that. But I would hope eventually they would find someone that actually can knit. Um, so that's kind of an example there. Like when I talk to them, I try and be like, yeah, go talk to, faculty staff that you're actually, friendly with and have a relationship with. And, we can hopefully find an advisor. Because really minimum wise, I tell the students also to keep you all in their email chains to make sure that they're telling you of all the events and all the meetings, hopefully meeting with you face to face once a month, twice a month, hopefully. So then that kind of translates to the expectations on your end, is like trying to make sure that they're keeping you in the loop, keeping you, especially financially, with the business office, that sort of thing, because you'll have to sign or, approve different things. I'm not really sure how it's all working with Workday yet, but mostly still it's all paper forms for check requests and other things and reimbursements. So, that's really the side. I put a little bit more of the responsibility on the students to keep you all engaged, but really I just would ask you then to make sure that they're doing these things. And then, obviously it really helps if we have any questions on the administrative side, to make sure that you as the advisor kind of know what's going on, so that, if we're having issues with a club, you're not like, what? I have no idea what's going on. So yeah, just make sure you have a little bit of idea what's going on. That's kind of the minimum, I suppose. Approving you as advisors. We can add you as an advisor on the roster for the harbor, and then it'll send you an invitation. If you accept that, then you're approved. Back in the day, we'd have to kind of do like an email chain to make sure everyone kind of knew what was going on. But now that the harbor really will only send it to the person that the email is, attached to, then we know that you accepted it and you're good to go. So that's pretty much it. So if there is updates on advisors, I can update those, but also anyone that's like a owner, so to speak, of your harbor page can change those too and change all the roster stuff. But I'm happy to help too. And when I'm talking with the students about recruiting advisors, once again, just kind of talking to people that they know, but also we use the bridge. That's actually been pretty successful for the most part. And then, if we're still striking out, we, kind of go back to the drawing board. But a lot of times I just tell them to, talk with some people that they know may be interested in what they're trying to do. We actually have a club that might be starting that's like a diamond painting, like color by number club or something. I'm like, well, I don't know who you're going to find for an advisor, but I'm sure it'd be easy enough to put together if we needed to do that. There's also a Taylor Swift club that wants to get started. I'm sure there would be plenty of people that would want to advise that. I mean, I would probably pass, but I'm sure somebody would want to do it. I'm more of a, I'm an Olivia Rodrigo person, probably, I suppose you could say. So food service and catering, that is, I wish I could say that that's really locked down and I have all the information and that's very clear. But they've had some turnover in their catering in Parkhurst, so that's been a little bit in flux, but the request forms are still active, and basically now you can either email Chef John or Esmeralda to get some things figured out that way. I mean, we still got everything done over kickoff days. It was a little bit, it wasn't, smooth sailing, but we got everything done. So catering can still happen. It just, you might have to, use a little bit of networking power to get things done exactly the way you want to go until they find a full-time person in catering, which I hope can be soon because it's pretty important on the event side of things. But yeah, they do have like a discount rate, and it's actually not terrible. Especially, I was just talking to some students about fundraisers. They can do like a plate of dinner fundraiser if you really would want to do that. Or bake sales aren't really a thing anymore, but if you wanted to, try and have Parkhurst make some cookies and, package those up, that might be an option. Money, student accounts, financial services, and Lents can help you. And actually, and this is 7 years in the making, I finally have access to tell you what your account balance is. It took 7 years, but we did it. So the way that I kind of combine my knowledge as far as the accounts go is I'll go into the harbor and see what a club has submitted for their budget for the semester and has been approved. And I'll get that number. And then I'll look at on workday what, their official account balance is. And we'll try and kind of figure it out from there what is available. But yeah, I do finally have access to that, and that is incredible. And it's been,
Hey, Lance,
yes.
can you send that information out to the advisors? Like, I would assume you probably send it out to the e-boards of the different clubs. Can the advisors be copied on that? Because I never have a clue what the finances are for the club.
Oh, that's a good question. I'm sure they could.
And Lance, is there any movement yet on allowing advisors access to Workday for the clubs so we actually can, see the money in action?
Ooh, that's an even better question. I'm going to write both those things down. Advisors, budget details. The other thing you can do, so yeah, the workday thing would probably be much more intensive to try and figure that out for everybody. But if you are an advisor on the harbor for your clubs, you can go into the finance section of the harbor and look at the budget requests and see what you requested and what was approved. So you can see that information. But if you need any help finding that or that, but I do know student government at least attempts to send the clubs what they were approved for. So I'll see if they can forward that information. But yes, the workday and advice, I would love that. Unfortunately, it taking 7 years just for myself, I'm not totally optimistic, but you never know. There's going to be probably 5 new people over there soon. So, well, maybe they'll be able to help. That'd be great. So a few more details on reimbursements and that. I know student reimbursements aren't in Workday yet, but faculty staff have to do a expense request or something. It's a little bit confusing, but if you need any help with that, I've done it a couple times. But I think they're still going by the paper thing for students at this time. So just once again about like kind of putting a lot of money on other people's credit cards or whatever the case may be. For apparel and that, I typically use 4imprint. Some people use like Custom Ink and other sites. And that's fine. But I told the students this, if you're designing shirts, we need to stop designing shirts with like 11 colors in them. Because every color that you add to a shirt design adds $1 to $2 a shirt charge. So if a club comes to me with a very complicated shirt design, I'm going to tell them to make a sticker out of it because I'm not doing 11 color shirts anymore because it's just not sustainable. So if your groups are going to be doing shirts, keep it simple. I loved the design that the Japanese club came up with, but it was a very expensive design and it just wasn't viable. So, or, and there's a couple examples of that. So just tell them to keep it simple. If they want to do a big complicated design, we can maybe get stickers. Before imprint is fairly affordable, and I can easily, if I'm sent the link and the quantities and the art, I can order that very quickly with my credit card, and then it'll come straight to me. So just if there's any question on apparel or anything like that, I'd be happy to help purchase that stuff. Fundraisers basically work like events in the harbor. You want to make sure that, and what we've been kind of running into is students using like their own Venmo accounts and personal accounts and stuff. That can get very like cloudy as far as, personal accounts and that. So you want to make sure that they're depositing that money into the business office as soon as possible, because there could be tax implications perhaps, but also just them having all that money in their personal account can lead to, just bad decisions. Any sort of sponsorships you'd want to get cleared with advancement. And no bake sales unless you're going to be doing something maybe with Parkhurst or package stuff. But sticker sales are really popular at this time because you can get a lot for not a lot of money. You can sell them for whatever. Movies, student government really didn't fund any movies, but we still do have a relationship with Swank. If you have the money to do something with that company, it's between $450 and $1,000 to get a license to do that, to show a movie. However, we have now this feature films for education that CAB and the library has helped pay for. And I know it's a bad name. Feature films for education sounds like a snoozer, so students are scared to use it. See you later. But it really, they had like Logan and the Martian and stuff on there, and that we pretty much, if it's on campus, we can show those things without a license because we've paid for this as like a kind of a blank license. Then Canopy is also, that's more kind of a public use, and it is more documentaries and stuff, but Canopy can be used for that too. So nowadays, if a group is looking to show a movie, I'm pretty much going to send them these two links and be like, look here, because I trust me, it's not going to be like worth it to pay $500 to show a movie anymore. But these are great. You can watch these at home if you'd like. This is a great thing that we found that the library kind of came to us with, and it's not bad. Contracts, we don't want students to sign contracts. I think as an advisor, you probably could sign a contract depending on, the amount of money that we're talking, but typically you can send the contracts to me. I can look at them and sign them if need be. And then I can also get the like W-9s and everything from everyone to do the check requests and all that. But students just really, if they get a contract, they should be sending it straight to you or straight to me or someone else to look at first before they're kind of moving along. But they can certainly negotiate stuff, just not signing anything is the way to go. And I have a little information here about homecoming that's coming up. The parade, the sign up is on the front page of the harbor right now. It's always a lot of fun. Gonna grab a lot of candy again for everyone to throw out. I know candy at parades is hard to find nowadays, so that's why I want to, get people interested. So it's a good time, and I think even if there's only like 2 or 3 students for your group, we would love to have them at the parade. It's a lot of fun. We still have some storage in the org storage. So if you're looking to get a bucket, or you have maybe a couple larger items, there still is some space. You can just let me know. I can either get you access or one of your students access to that room, and we can get that situated. We cleaned it out, not this last summer, but the summer before, and it's starting to fill up again, much like my garage. Once you clear it out, it only gets filled up again. Student government, they meet at 9:15 on Tuesdays. So most allocations in that should we get in before that. Then that's the SG Finance at Carthage.edu. Just thought I'd throw this in here to let you know when they're meeting. And we still are going to have the Student Leadership Awards at the end of the year. So when that rolls around, try and get nominations for all of these. Personally, I help with the Organization of the Year, new organization, and the advisor, and I submit a lot of nominations for that stuff. So, but you all are certainly able to do that as well. All right, so ways for the groups to be legit in the eyes of student involvement. This meeting's good. I got a list of people that were in the involvement fair, filling out the intent to be active. Submitting events is always a good one. And then once the budgets come up, we'll submit one of those, and that's the best way. Are there any questions? If not, I'll stop sharing.
I just had a quick question.
Yes.
I've been noticing on the harbor, the club was starting to put in the dates of their meetings.
Yep.
And I was getting a notification of please approve this event or something like that. And when I went in there, all I could do was put like a thumbs up of I approve, but I didn't really know what I was approving. What's that about?
Yeah, so that you doing that shows me that you know what's going on. Like, but you don't, like, you aren't required to go in there. Like, me or Liz are the only people that have to go in and approve those to get them on the site. But you will get it so you know that they're submitting stuff, so that if you're like, hey, I never heard about this, like, this is, you can either comment or you can like delete the event or whatever the case may be, but you aren't required to hit like that thumbs up or anything.
Okay. And I answered my own question about the budget. I found the spot on the harbor that lists the finance piece. So
yeah,
thanks.
Yeah, I know it takes a little bit to kind of find it, but yeah, it is there, which is nice. The only issue with that is like, it's not like, it doesn't take out any money if you're like it just shows you kind of what you have, and then I can go on Workday and see what the official number is looking like. Yeah, I'm gonna send out all these slides. I think I stopped the recording, and so, oh no, I didn't. So I can stop the recording, and I'll send